Welcome back to Vital Health Radio Show. Your host Ed Jones and Clint Powell are back with you to empower your health and well-being as we have done each week now for 7+ years. You know, for my first 30 years in business, I had to scrape to get anything to happen. And I've been so blessed in the past, I don't know, maybe even 10 years to have the good fortune knock on my door so often that I cannot even put the words behind that. And I think a lot of that is the dynamics of energies and how you connect it to your own self, the world, the cosmos, whatever words you want to use. But, you know, the amount of quality, passionate staff members that have brought themselves into the nutritional world, it's almost like when we try to find somebody, we can't. When we don't, and we just put out the kind of the message we need somebody, they seem to come knocking and in unusual ways, whatever it may be. Somebody knows somebody. Somebody says, hey, maybe you should go talk to them. Well, one of our probable near the last few people that we've had is Thera. And Thera has come to join us at Nutrition World, a nurse practitioner and wonderfully educated. So welcome to Vital Health Radio, Thera.
Thanks for having me. So happy to be here.
She is going to be a wonderful asset. You've been there already for several months, gotten a very good experience in regard to what we do, how we do, what we have. And there's a certain learning curve that's pretty dang steep. And I don't think anybody who comes to Nutrition World realizes what they're jumping into in the boat. The rocky boat at first, because it's long days at times, and it wears you out until it learns to enliven you. And when it does, you go home feeling better than you came some days. It's still somewhat challenging at moments, but generally it's a wonderful, fulfilling place. But you have a history, you have a story to tell about. And I love it because the medical community who has stories to tell of how they shifted with perspective. Maybe tell us how you got started and when you got started in your life with this pursuit of hoping to help people's health.
Yes. So I started out in my early 20s as a nurse's aide, and then I transitioned, throughout school into a registered nurse. And then 15 years ago, I graduated from nurse practitioner school. So I've been in that space for decades. So I loved it. I love health, and I love helping people. So that was my motivation. About 7 or 8 years ago, I started having issues, whether it was anxiety or acne, different things. My husband had psoriasis, just different medical issues. And when I would try to go into the conventional world that I was part of for help, I would get a medication. And so a lot of times I couldn't tolerate it, or I didn't want to be on a medication, for the rest of my life. So I prayed about it. And with any health issue, I would find like a holistic answer. I would find lifestyle, eating nutrient-dense foods, optimizing sleep. There's so many herbs. I think the reason, like you're saying, that Nutrition World has so many options and so many supplements and foods is because herbs and medicinal mushrooms, they're so abundant. And we have so much to go to, in the functional space. So once I started learning about functional medicine, I was like, where has this been my whole life? Because this is amazing, and this is true health. And I can say in my 40s, I'm healthier and I feel better than in my teens and 20s. So I love that, and I'm super passionate about sharing that with others. And I get to do that at Nutrition World. So we get people from all walks of life. We get people who are very knowledgeable about health, and then we have people who are wanting something different, and just anything in between. And so it's been super energizing to learn more about natural health and just connect with people. And the staff are super helpful, supportive, motivating, because they're into health, and they'll just share their knowledge with me and their coworkers and the customers that come in. And then our customers, will share what they're doing. And so we just have a really good rapport. And like you said, it can be long hours and you're on your feet, but it's just so energizing. So I've enjoyed it.
Quick question. Have you, because I've heard this theme with Dr. Deering and other people we've brought in, was the moment you said you started looking for other answers.
Yeah.
So this is the part where I struggle. Maybe you did too, because the answer was a lot of me stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
Because we are so used to getting the pill.
Yes.
Is there a cough syrup? Is there a pill I can take?
Right.
What's the next thing that's going to make me lose the weight or get sleep? Mm-hmm. Give me something. And a lot of times, the reason I don't like talking to people like you and Ed is because y'all are going to say, that's great, we've got stuff. But before we do that also, how many donuts are you eating, Clint?
Right.
And when are you going to bed, sir? How much water are you drinking?
Right.
Because we just dismiss like it's not the answer.
Right.
When in reality, before you start taking this stuff, even from nutrition,
the foundations.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah. I'm glad you're there to preach it, but you and Ed, every time I start with something, he's like, well, what's your diet like? That's not what I want. I want the pill. Fix me.
Right.
And you came from that world.
Yes.
It's got to be kind of cool to bring the good stuff from that world and then mingle that in with this other world that's got all these other options.
It's been amazing. And I talked to tons of people like that. And I feel that especially with foundational health, with nutrition, with nutrient-dense food, a lot of people feel like they're going to give up something if they go into this realm. And you'll have to have some discipline for a few months. But once your taste buds are not hijacked by chemical-rich foods, I feel like you go from black and white to color as far as your taste buds and the taste of food. I crave beets and salmon, and it sounds crazy. Whereas before I was had sweets, was a sweet addict.
Look at you smiling
or
when
junk
you talk
food.
to me. I was like, beets. Have you had a Krispy Kreme? And all of a sudden, you stop that, Clint. Good for you, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and I understand we can't change everything at once, but I think steps we can do are just going to go a long way. And then that's motivating and energizing. And you're really not going to miss out on anything eventually. And they're healthy sweet treats too.
The flip side, I'll give it back to Ed. Two things I want to ask you about.
Healthy
One is I always figure out though that we always look at it as missing something.
Yes.
We don't understand what we're actually getting.
Exactly.
On the other side of that.
Yes.
And the other thing is I've learned when I'm on my game, because sometimes I'm doing better than other times. But when I'm doing it right, I'm amazed at how comfortable I can get with feeling bad.
Yes.
When you're coming through the fog and you're like, my joints don't hurt, and I don't crave food at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I can sleep better. And I didn't do anything except discipline, which that's where it starts, right? It's amazing how we can get used to that.
No, absolutely.
Well, I love the fact that I love partnering with people who also have the immense knowledge that you have about the physiology of the body. I mean, you've dealt with patients for years after years. You spent years studying. You know about how the blood system works and the organs and most people who work at nutrition stores would never have that depth of knowledge. There are some self-learners who are pretty darn smart, but that's a very rarity. And to have you and Dr. Deering, Julia, who's a registered dietitian, soon to be, there's not another nutrition store, I think, in the country that would have the level of staff that we do. And let me ask you this. Did COVID change anything for you? Because I know it changed the perspective for some people in a very positive way, locked down a few others as far as physicians and nurses. But what did it do for you?
It absolutely did. It made me question a lot of things, especially I was already on a path. I was under chiropractic care and learning a lot about functional wellness. But I started really questioning the experts and studies and how studies were set up. So sometimes studies can be set up for failure or success, and you have to question the motive and whether there's interest involved in the outcome. And so I think that was huge. So I started questioning a lot of things. I was always into health, but then I started questioning more the conventional side, which in a lot of ways is amazing, as you know, with the acute issues and things like that. But it empowered me in a lot of ways to say, hey, I'm in my body, and so I know myself best. So it's good to get wise counsel. It's good to get expert opinions, but ultimately it's up to me, to be the steward of my health and my family's health. And so that was a huge turning point for me and a lot of people.
And it seemed like we were getting information from, air quote, and this is not a political thing, but from trusted sources.
Right.
This is good, this is bad. You're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You both got the white coats and all the initials after your name. I'm just trying to go to work. You're in the business. And it was confused. I've got friends who are doctors. They were almost just as confused as I was. They're like, man, flip a coin. We're going for it. It had to be a crazy time for you. Yeah.
It was. I think it was a hard time for a lot of us because we had, especially if you had a mindset shift. And so how people were unable. My big issue was with science or with any intellectual aspect of life, you should be able to have discussions. You should be able to respect other people's opinions. And that wasn't happening. And I was like, so many people were very brave and spoke out, and have a lot of respect for that. But that was a huge shift, just because, people have a right to question the experts, and throughout history, people have done that. And so it needs to be something that's we're given freedom to do.
Well, I love the fact, respecting the rights of others' opinions. And we lost that during that time.
Right.
And one of those was Dr. McCullough. We learned of him yesterday. We are going to bring him to Chattanooga on August 27th. I know that because that's my birthday, and what a great birthday. He is a brave hero. Whether you agree or not, he stood up for what he believed in and did it very strongly. So we will be announcing more of that information as time goes.
Can I ask a question that puts you on the spot?
Sure.
That's where we go. You never know what happened. So you've been in Nutrition World. You kind of talked about you had already had the mind shift into the holistic approach. Is there something at Nutrition World, something you've learned that you're like, okay, that's my vibe? Is there something that surprised you? In other words, I've found that when people start working there, they gravitate towards one aisle. Not that you don't know about everything, but that's my aisle, or that's my product, or I had no idea this was out here, and now I live and swear by it. Has there been something like that that's happened for you?
Well, I think one thing that I really gravitate for is medicinal mushrooms. So that wasn't something that I had delved in too much, but I love
Same here.
that it's an immune modulator, and it has amazing qualities. And so at this point, I take some type of mushrooms every day, and so I love it. And I feel I have more mental clarity, less brain fog. So it's been amazing. I mean, the benefits are just spectacular.
I mean, it's the Earth's Pharmaceuticals, but they're green pharmacy. I just did a 27-minute video yesterday that will be posted next week on that exact subject. As far as your focus, I know that soon you'll be transitioning halfway into a coaching position. And
I need to jump in real quick on that.
Yeah, go.
She's ready to go. She's on the website, and she's set up, sir.
She is?
Yeah, just wanted to give everybody a heads up.
Well, I didn't know that. So somebody can make an appointment now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Are you going to make an appointment right now, Clint?
If you want to, I'm just letting you know. You're set up and ready to go.
Good.
Great,
well,
great.
so on nutritionw.com,
under
what?
consult, under wellness consultant.
Well, then you.
Sorry about that.
I'm thrilled. So what is going to? I have multiple coaches and experts. What I feel all are experts, but they each have their focus. I'm not a big fan of the general practitioner kind of person. I think we have to really delve kind of deeply into certain categories to be what I call excellent at it. What are your 3 or 4 categories that you really are enlivened by when you have someone say, "Can I ask you about?"
Sure. So one of my biggest loves is insulin resistance and helping people counter that. So because insulin resistance happens about 10 to 15 years prior to prediabetes and diabetes, it's a missing piece to, and it's a huge driver of so many other issues, chronic issues. So I love that piece. If people are having a lot of cravings, if they are hungry all the time, having to snack, and so that's probably my first love. And then I'm also, and this has kind of evolved since I've been at Nutrition World, so many people have come up to me in perimenopause and menopause. And so I believe that natural menopausal support and just women being able to understand the changes in their body during that time, because because a lot of times the things that we could do in our 20s and teens, they're not as we don't get the same results. And so I want to help women through that. And so that's been major. I think, kind of like we were talking with Clint, sorry.
It's okay. I've been going way worse. That's easy.
The foundations of health. And so a lot of people come into the store and into my life, saying, I just don't know where to start, because it can seem overwhelming because our food supply, there's so many issues with it. And so we just really have to become detectives. And so just helping people sort through so much information out there that's so conflicting. So I think that's huge.
You and I resonate so much on. We realize that people need a plan, and it needs a workable plan. Yes. And I just finished a consultation an hour before here, and I told the guy, I said, I don't want to overload you. I don't want you to spend too much money. I want you to baby step if you feel comfortable, or if you want to do more, we can. But none of us at Nutrition World are trying to build a basket. Right. We know there's some mandatory items, and you are so right about insulin resistance. It is the originating metabolic dysfunction that probably causes 75% of all the diseases that we end up getting. This is not the same as elevated glucose, yet it's a cousin to it. But insulin is a kind of different category. And I love the fact that you're going to be dealing with women. Now, I feel comfortable on both sides of the fence of like Optimize You really does well with interaction with women and men for hormones. I still value greatly, let's see what nature can do first. It's not a disease to go through menopause. Why is it struggling so much today when it did not used to be as big of a deal? And lifestyle is so important. So you are going to feel a need that, first off, nobody else has at Nutrition World, because the women's issues like that, we don't have anybody, never have had anybody, and I am honored to have you to be able to do that. And we're going to have you build a business that is going to help so many people. And again, one of my mottos is I want to change the face of healthcare in Chattanooga to a modest degree. I'm certainly not, we're not competing against Erlanger and traditional big methods, but I know there's an opening. I know there's a need. I know there's a craving for this other part of the conversation and staying legal, doing it the right healthy way and legal way. But you now can go to Nutrition W and book with Thera if you really want to deal with and create a plan. And Clint's heard me say this so many times, he's tired of it. We have to create a team around us to get to our goal in most cases, because health is not just reading a little booklet and figuring it out. We need somebody to hold our hands and create that plan and then be there for us when we have questions. So I'm excited for you to be soon turning the corner and starting to see these great people of Chattanooga who need someone like yourself. And Clint, if he was a woman, I would get him to go see you. But he does have insulin resistance.
That's Ed's way of trying to include me in the conversation in an awkward way. On behalf of Cliff, thank you very much, sir.
There you go.
That Scott's going to call me that when I come in next week. Scott, because he listens to the show every week.
Yes, he does. Yes, he will.
I want to tag now. I want to tag with Cliff.
That could be your nickname.
Absolutely. Now, if you go to nutritionw.com, look under Wellness Consultants, you'll see her name right there, along with all the other ones you have up there too.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. And you're working 3 or 4 days a week. You certainly can come talk to you on the floor for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Most consultations. Actually, to be a detective, it takes 50 minutes, in my opinion, and anything less than 30 is probably not going to be enough to really be the detective, as you said, the detective. But that is what it is. It really is. And it seems easy sometimes when I talk about it, but I know it's kind of like if I fly small airplanes. If you got in that small airplane right now, you wouldn't know which direction to start turning. You wouldn't know what button to push. You wouldn't know how to start it, drive it, taxi it, take it off, land it, talk on the radio. And that's the way it is with some people's health. They just have gotten used to just getting up in the morning, going, grabbing what they need, going to bed, doing it every single day until the nature kind of knocks on the door and says, hey, this engine ain't running too good.
Right.
And then, once a symptom happens, you run the doctor. The symptom treatment sometimes makes you feel normal. So you're like, oh, I'm all well. No, you're not. It's still under the cover. It's still smoldering. It's like that fire that you think you put out and it flames back up. It's like, well, I was going to say something bad about you. I know.
You see him?
I was thinking something really bad.
Running through that wheel trying to, can I make him?
It was so bad. And being Thera was sitting here, I actually stopped it coming out of my lips.
So you're a hero, Thera. You wear a cape.
Good influence.
Yeah.
Thank you for protecting my fragile ego, Thera.
He saw the smirk over
Absolutely.
here. All right. Well, it is time to take a break. When we come back, loads of other notes for you to be empowered. That as we continue for Clint Powell, Ed Jones, and Thera. Stay with us.